Hi there, my name is Max, and today I'll be loading up some Kodak Gold 200 to a Contax T, taking you around town in Revelstoke, and hopefully spilling the tea, giving you my overall impressions on this really well-built point-and-shoot camera. So let's get into it. So if you watched my previous video with the Contax T2, you'll know that Contax is very much a high-end luxury brand. So when this camera was released in 1984, it cost a lot of money. It features a 38mm Carl Zeiss f2.8 lens, which really makes this camera shine in my opinion. Shutter speeds going from as slow as 8 seconds up to 1/500th of a second. You can also get a flash for it. Mine came with it. It has to be the Contax branded one that just pops onto the side of the camera and gives you a little bit of fill, or if you're shooting at night, allows you to light up your scene. If you're not sure where Revelstoke is, I don't blame you, but it is one of the most beautiful places on Earth. It is tucked in interior British Columbia in Canada, and it is very much a small but growing town. What I love about small towns, and other film photographers love about small towns, is that you have all these old cars and homes and signs and these kind of nostalgic moments that you can go after. So I love winter, summer, just walking around town and seeing what I can see that reminds me of maybe my earlier years in the 90s. So I loaded up a roll of Kodak Gold 200, my favorite film for 35mm, and went around the block a few times. Revelstoke is known to be a ski town. However, before that, it was very much a railway and forestry town, and it still is. And just recently, I think around 2007 or so, the town built a ski resort, and ever since it has been growing in popularity. But at the same time, there are still these old little hidden moments that we so love to see. One thing you might have noticed if ever you try to take a photo when it is overcast and in the snow, is that the built-in light meters tend to underexpose a lot. I remember shooting a roll and getting the negatives back, and they were severely dark or underexposed, and I wasn't sure if that was the camera or if I was doing something wrong, but I confirmed with my friend Jack, thankfully, that you really just need to trick the camera into thinking that it is darker than it is, because the bright white snow kind of messes with the light meter in the camera. So for me, that's a simple fix. I'll overexpose by 1 or 2 stops by setting the ISO down 1 or 2 stops. So if it's a Kodak Gold 200 rated film, I will shoot it at 100. So it does require a battery in order to power on this camera, which is no surprise really for point and shoot cameras. But I will say that the battery that I had put in it to test it was running low, and although the LCD was powering up and showing me numbers, the camera wouldn't fire, and I was a bit concerned. So if that happens to you, just toss in a fresh battery so you can definitely know whether or not your camera powers on and if it shoots. What's pretty cool too is I got about 40 frames from this roll of Gold 200, which is typically a roll of 36. So in terms of value and the amount of photos you can take, I think up to 40 is a really good yield from this camera. These photos, by the way, are self-developed and self-scanned with an Epson V600, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm sure your local lab will be able to get some better quality scans compared to me. There's no local lab here, so I just do it myself. Overall, I think I'm really happy with the quality of these images. The consistency in terms of the colors and the sharpness from this camera are really good. and also the viewfinder focus works pretty well in my opinion. So this really was designed as a high-end small point-and-shoot camera that you could just toss into a pocket, and with that cover on the lens, to me really interferes with the focusing and the aperture ring adjustments. I have shot with a small camera such as an Olympus XA and XA2 in the past, which does feel a bit smaller and a lot lighter too since it's plastic, but I will say that the ergonomics for me for the Contax T just aren't really as user-friendly. I have to wrap my hand around the cover, then get to the lens, which you're adjusting aperture and your focus within maybe like a half an inch kind of range there. And for me, since I'm either in the mountains or on the go quite a bit, reloading the film is actually a bit of a struggle on this camera. So let me show you in detail just so you get an idea. First, you'll want to unlock the bottom, just like that. Then you can slide the backing off. Once that's aside, flip open that piece there. Insert your roll of film just like that. Tuck the strip into the gear right there. Just a bit, you don't want to go too crazy. Close the backing up, pop this open so I can test it, so I can advance it rather. There's one. You notice it goes all the way around. Pop the back on again, lock it, advance again, and advance again. One more time, and there you go. You can tell that it's loaded because the LCD is displaying 1 instead of 2 dashes. All locked and loaded. So I think you can pick one of these cameras up for about $450 US with a flash in good condition from eBay, and I think that that's a lot better value than the Contax T2, which to me the main difference between the two is that there's an autofocus system on the Contax T2, and the flash is actually built into the camera, so you don't have these modules. The Contax T is definitely a good alternative if you want that sharpness of the Carl Zeiss lens and the portability. I'm going to also get the flash attachment. Is it the best value though? So if it were me and I was starting from scratch, I'd probably pick up an XA or XA2 and try it out. Lower price point, lower kind of risk, and if you end up liking the Olympus XA or XA2, then even better. In terms of the image quality, I will give the Contax T the edge over the XA or XA2 with the Carl Zeiss lens. However, that's not to say that the XA or XA2 don't live up or don't meet expectations. In fact, you can get really, really good quality images from those cameras as well. But perhaps you're looking for something a little more flashy or sexy, and I gotta give it to the build quality and the design teams here, because the Contax T, just like the T2, look and feel phenomenal in the hands, except when you're trying to manually focus. Alright, so that concludes this video. Spilled a little bit of tea on the Contax T. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. Drop a like on this video, and you can check out my work and just reach out to me directly on Instagram at Max Vidricaire. If you're in the market for something, I hope this helps you make a better decision. Definitely let me know what you end up picking up and your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.